if you were dating a man and then like after some time passes, you feel like you don't want to have sex with him anymore. Maybe he's acting a little bit differently and you're just not that attracted to him that you want to be having sex with him. But he's a great best friend. Are you still dating him?
Um, so I've actually been in that situation. And
And did you continue to date him or did you break up?
no, but I told him, I was like, listen, I just like we were friends for a long time and then we ended up hooking up and then I ended up telling him, I'm like, this wasn't right. Like, I want to be your friend. I don't want to do this. And of course, he went crazy because he honestly, and I think it was because he waited so long. And then by the time he did get it, he was like mesmerized. And then I was like, no, this isn't what I wanted.
No.
This doesn't feel right. And he took it very personal. And then we weren't friends anymore after that. And he was like, I'm in love with you and whatever, whatever. And I was like, okay, dude, you're tripping, but just the chemistry wasn't there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
That's a guy who was only your friend because he wanted to sleep with you.
But I
He
know
was
for like
friend
5
zoning his
years.
way into the bedroom.
Guys will wait decades. Guys will wait their whole lives.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You saw it. Kathy, what'd you have a question on?
Yeah. So I personally feel like I hold a strict boundary with if I do have a guy friend, I hold a strict boundary to not sleep with them because I feel like that softens the boundaries. Like I feel like that gives confused feelings. How would you go about being friends with somebody you slept with? Because I personally will feel uncomfortable about that. I feel like they'll be dating, to be honest.
On you froze.
It was the question for us or the question for the rest of the ladies?
I didn't hear the second part of your question because it froze.
Oops.
She might be
Can
lagging
you hear
behind.
me?
Are you still there?
Yeah. I'm lagging bad.
Catherine wants to pipe in.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the. I'm trying to make sure she's still here. So the question I think was maintaining friendships with people that you've slept with and how you would go about that. So, Catherine, do you have something to say on that point?
I'm going to be very Harry Met Sally in this situation and say that there are no friendships between men and women that are completely platonic ever. And so that just like doesn't exist. I mean, like oftentimes a lot of people will be like, oh, but I have this guy that I'm friends with, but like there's always one who wants something with the other. So like, yeah. So I think who said it? I think Erica. You said your like biggest
Erica
red
has a guy
flags
friend.
Yeah,
like biggest red flag was if a guy had a lot of like girlfriends, and like to me that's a huge red flag also because like obviously they're not getting this like the fact that that boundary like doesn't that doesn't exist. So either like they keep a lot of to me that means like the guy is not into the girls because typically he would be sleeping with them if he were or so he's either sleeping with all of them or he just maintains like a lot of girls around to like you know who like him and he doesn't like back just so that he can make himself feel good, which is also a huge red flag. So I think
The
if
guy with
you're
a
not
lot of
into a
female
guy
friends.
and you want to friend zone him, just don't, because if he still wants to be friends with you, that means he wants to sleep with you still. So like that doesn't exist, and you're only like preventing yourself from moving forward with an actual healthy relationship by maintaining that guy who wants to sleep with you around, because then anyone who actually wants to have a really relationship with you, it will be scared away
I feel
because
like
someone who thinks like that will actually look at you and say you have a major red flag.
I feel like I feel like you would have to have serious discipline to sleep with somebody and then be friends with them after and not sleep with them again and hold that boundary, because sex has been a very complicated thing. Like if you put sex into the equation when it comes to friendships, that I feel like that further complicates things between you and the person, especially how they see you, how they respect you, how they choose to like basically how they choose to view you, how they choose to like the tone that is set in that friendship. That's why I always keep like a strict boundary. That's why what my question was, how would you go about being friends with someone you just slept with? Like, how would you go about that?
You don't.
It doesn't exist. There's no friendships.
don't.
Like, once sex is
There's no such
introduced,
thing.
yeah, I know, but like once sex is introduced to any sort of relationship, it's no longer. I actually agree with Catherine on this. Like, no relationship between a man and a woman is completely platonic. There's always some sort of underlying sexual desire, or even the fact that if it's not being actively pursued, if most guys, like if a girlfriend was like, "Hey man, come over, I'm horny, let's get it on," they would be like, "Oh yeah, right." But it, like enough times she's like, "No, I'm serious, come over," like he would do it. Like they guys would do it. And so is a guy who would sleep with you after just very little convincing, only because he doesn't want to look embarrassed that he's on some reality show where it's like, "Hey, like we're texting your guy friends, see if they'll bang you." Then when they think the coast is clear, they will go for it. Now, and if that's the underlying case, and if we know that, can you really call that a friendship? Like if the reason that the guy is even around you or spending time with you or spending time on you or paying attention to you or offering you emotional support or advice or whatever it is, it's all under the veil of I'm doing it because I'm waiting for my opportunity for a crack in the armor so I can sleep with you. Is that a friendship?
Bingo.
Yep.
And a lot of women say it is. And they say, "Oh, well, I have discipline and I have a boundary so it never gets crossed." But it's like,
He's just waiting for your weakness. He's just waiting for you.
And maybe it'll never come.
Maybe bend the rule that
but it's
one
like,
day.
even if that's the case, even if you say like it'll never happen. And here's the thing, I actually will take it a step further. I think it's not only unwise for women to keep men around as friends that they're not sleeping with, I think it could be potentially dangerous, because when you actually look at the sexual assault and RAPE cases, a lot of it's like 40% or something like that, or maybe more. I don't know exactly statistics, but it's something like 40% plus maybe or more come from people that you know. Like the likelihood that you're going to be walking down the street and some random dude's going to grab you and pull you into a bush, it's far less likely to happen than somebody who has been spurned by your advances for years and who you lead on into thinking that there's something there when there's nothing, and they decide to say, "Well, whatever, I'm going to take what's mine." That's way more likely to happen. So it's like, why even put yourself in that dangerous position, in that dynamic? Because guess what? Like Kathy, I know you do MMA and stuff, but like even the average guy is going to be tough for you to deal with. Even an untrained average man.
I'm going to be honest with you. Sorry, I'm going to be honest with you. When I used to do Jeet Kune Do, the person that I was put to spar with, his like my arm looked like a finger next to his arm. Like at that point, I felt like just a little twist and it will break my whole shit. So I'm gonna be honest, even like the skinniest people, like when I practice MMA, even like you'll see that they're so like they look frail, but their strength is intense. Like you would like at first, I'm gonna be very transparent, very honest. I didn't even realize where that strength came from. It took me having to practice MMA for a long period of time for me to realize that it's subjective to the person, you know, so you just never know.
That's what's so interesting.
Put a brick in your Hermes bag. I'm sure it could carry it, but does it need to?
Are we? Speaking of which, I want to try to drill down on this one more time, because I want to go to Denise. I want to go to Denise because I've got some questions for Denise. But Catherine, I think we were so close to a mutual understanding before your phone dropped out.
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here, where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.